Now I am discussing about the natural ecosystem. Structure of an ecosystem. Ecosystem majorly, broadly, ecosystem structure, we are broadly divided into abiotic components and biotic components. Abiotic components are climatic and then edaphic components. Climatic conditions in the sense, climatic components in the sense rain, rainfall, light, sun rays, wind flow, temperature, all these comes under the climatic end. Edaphic end in the sense soil, nutrition, then fertility of the soil, what are the elements, and then what are the components present on the soil, that particular soil is fertile or not, and then what is the pH, and then which kind of minerals and then ores are present on that particular soil, topography of the soil, not only soil, and then aquatic system, if we are taking aquatic system, water, that conditions, everything. This is the abiotic components. Abiotic components are having no life, but these plays crucial role in the ecosystem for balancing. For balancing of ecosystem, abiotic components plays important, very, very important role. Biotic components majorly divided into producers, consumers, decomposers. Produces food with the help of sun rays by taking minerals, water, carbon dioxide from the soil. They can produce food because producers which having chlorophyll, all the plants which having chlorophyll, they produces food. They are also known as autotrophs. Producers are produced food for all living being, entire nature, entire living being in the world depends on the producer for their food. Consumers further divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, quaternary consumers. Consumers are depending on producers for their food majorly, because they may not produce their food themselves in the sense they are depending on the producers for vegetables, fruits, grains, whatever it may be. Everything is produced by producers. They are nothing but plants. Consumers further divided into primary consumers are herbivores. Primary consumers are herbivores, are vegetarians, pure vegetarians. They majorly depends on producers only. They are eating leaves, vegetables, fruits, like that. Best example, rabbit, grasshopper, then deer, like that. They are herbivores, they are vegetarians. Secondary consumers are primary carnivores. Secondary consumers depends on primary consumers for food. Best example here is wolf, jackal. Depends on the ecosystem, this will be vary. Some examples I am quoted here. Tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers are large carnivores like tigers, lion, bear, like that. These are depends on secondary consumers majorly, including primary consumers also. These are secondary consumers and then tertiary consumers. Carnivores, whatever it may be. Carnivores are pure non-vegetarians. Carnivores are pure non-vegetarian. See, you can observe if tiger, they didn't get food like animals or any living beings. It is depends on the living beings, majorly deer, wolf, or other any other living beings. But if tiger or lion may not get food like these living beings, they are they may not eat grass like that. They are only carnivores and then purely non-vegetarians. Pure non-vegetarians. They don't want depend. If they didn't get food, they may not eat grass. But what about quaternary consumers or omnivores? Omnivores are both. Like best example is human being. They can eat. They can depend on the primary producers. Both are vegetarians and non-vegetarians. Whatever it may be, whatever they can get, they may eat. Even some exemption only for pure vegetarian from the human beings. But human beings are, while we are dividing here, omnivores, they may each, they are vegetarians and non-vegetarians. They are depending on food for producers like plants as well as animals too. This is the consumers: herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. Herbivores are pure vegetarians, carnivores are pure non-vegetarians, omnivores are vegetarians and non-vegetarians. See, imagine the situation. So whatever available, we can eat. Everything we will be eating. Then next, decomposers. Producers produce food, consumers depends on the producers. Decomposers depends on the degrading materials, discarding materials. Decomposers plays crucial role in the balancing of environment or structure of ecosystem, balancing of ecosystem. Decomposers decompose everything as their individual components. Suppose any living being is died, any animal or human being is died, decomposers will be decomposed after some time. But living beings having some carbohydrates, some nitrates, and then proteins, minerals, everything will be there on that body. It will be decomposed as a individual components like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, like that. These will be balanced in the ecosystem. Further, all these enter into the earth surface or ecosystem, and that particular ecosystem, they are, well, these are balancing. They further enter into the earth and then ecosystem as well as in the nature. Cycle will be further, producers can utilize these minerals and then everything as a nutrition or fertility. Further, they can produce the food. All the carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, water cycle, everything is balanced by major. Water cycle is balanced by atmosphere, climatic factors. Remaining carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycle, everything is balanced by decomposers. From the decomposers, it will come back to as a cycle. This is the importance of structure of an ecosystem. If we know the structure of ecosystem, how we have to give the priority, including abiotic components and then decomposers too. Each and every individual is the mutual interaction. If there is no abiotic component, we may not get food. If there is no soil, we may get food. If there is no plant, we may know there is no minerals, and then temperature not maintaining, and then there is no solar rays. How plant can prepare the food? That's why abiotic factors also plays vital role. But abiotic factors may not having the life. They are non-living beings. Biotic factors having the life. These are living beings. Okay, this is the structure of ecosystem. Then ecosystem will balanced by, each and everything is mutually interrelated. Then how energy will be flow through ecosystem? How energy will be flow ecosystem in the ecosystem? We have to discuss with here produces herbivores, carnivores, then omnivores. Before going to energy flow through an ecosystem, different trophic levels we have to discuss. Different trophic levels. Autotrophs. Autotrophs in the sense plants. They prepare their own food from the abiotic factors. Next, herbivores. Squirrel, grasshopper, rabbit, like that. These are primary consumers. Then, primary carnivores. Scorpion, wolf, jackal, like that. Then, secondary carnivores. Eagle, wolf, fox. Then, higher levels. Tertiary, lion, tiger. Depends on the ecosystem. So, energy flows from the abiotic factor. Everybody knows energy neither created nor destroyed, but it will change one form to another form. So from the abiotic factors, plants prepare food. Here energy is nothing but in the matter of food. Food and other things too, but here plants prepare food. These are autotrophs, producers. Next, consumers. These are the different trophic levels. Energy will flow from the autotrophs to herbivores, herbivores to primary consumers, primary carnivores to secondary carnivores, tertiary or omnivores, finally decomposers. These are the trophic levels, the energy flow in the any ecosystem. Autotrophs, herbivores, carnivores, decomposers. See here, in the pyramid we will discuss. See, in any ecosystem, for balanced ecosystem, producers should be more. See, everything is producers. Producers should be more. Next, herbivores should be less. Herbivores should be less than producers. Or otherwise, they may not get proper food. Then next, carnivores further less. Secondary carnivores or secondary consumers. Next, tertiary. And then, if you are from bottom to apex of the pyramid, last carnivores should be very less. See, if we are counting, if we are taking one forest ecosystem or one particular area, green plants should be more in any way. That is the basic concept. That's why plantation, forest, enhance the forest. That is, everything is balanced through producers. Producers are nothing but major things as plants in terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem is further divided into grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem is further divided into pond ecosystem, lake, ponds, lake, then ocean, riverine, estuarine. These are different. So in the any ecosystem, producers should be more. They have to produce much amount of energy, much amount of food. Next, herbivores should be less than producers. Carnivores further less than producers. Like this energy flow from one um, tropic level to another tropic level. This is the balanced ecosystem. Like this will be there. Uh, Pyramid should be much, bottom of the pyramid should be much, larger than apex. Carnivore should be very less. That is the balanced ecosystem. Uh, that is the balanced ecosystem. So like this, energy will be flow in the any ecosystem. These are the tropic level, energy will flow. See here, you can understand in the better way. These are the producers. Producers are preparing food, energy stored as a biomass. Biomass in the sense as a leaves or vegetables or food, any kind of food, fruits, vegetables. So here see, here in the producers, 20, suppose if we are taking example as a 20,000 kilocalorie per meter square per year. 20,000 kilocalories. Next, this energy, if it's enter into the herbivores or primary consumers, only 2,000 kilocalories per meter square per year. Because much amount of whatever here produced is, some energy is wasted or enter into the, further it enter into the, take back into the nature in the ecosystem as a heat or decomposing materials or degrading materials. Suppose if we are taking plants, due to their evaporation, what will happen? It will be some amount of heat is lost. Heat energy is lost in the form of heat to their respirations, and then evaporation, evapotranspiration, everything. Then some leaves are discarded leaves. Some leaves are damaged, degraded. They enter into the decomposers and then finally heat. Hence, 20 kilocalorie per meter square per year. Next level, next tropic level enter into the 2000 only herbivores. Next, primary carnivores, it enters into the 200 kilocalorie per meter square only. Eagle, jackal, wolf, like that. Frog. Next, secondary carnivores, these enters into the 20 kilocalorie per meter square per year only. And then finally, the apex 2 calorie per meter square per year. This is the balanced ecosystem. Energy, whatever prepared, produced in the bottom to top, it's some amount of energy is lost in the form of heat or another things, or decomposers, are wasted and the dead matters. That's why producers should be more, and then next herbivores, primary carnivores, secondary carnivores, tertiary carnivores. Like that. Energy also flow like this from one level to one tropic level to another tropic level. That's why for the ecosystem should be balanced, or otherwise, if suppose what will happen, if herbivores will be more, this energy is not sufficient to all these herbivores. Their population will be decreased. If next carnivores will be more, what will be happen? Ecosystem may not balance, disrupt. That is the problem. So ecological pyramid is the how energy flow from producers to ecological pyramid defines, or ecological pyramid explains how energy flow from the producers to final tertiary carnivores or consumers. How energy will flow producers to herbivores and then carnivores, finally decomposers. How energy will be balanced. How energy will be balanced in the ecosystem. If perfect or balanced ecosystem having producers should be more, and then it will be further next levels will be next level population will be decreased, as well as energy flow also decreased from one tropic level to another tropic level. So ecological pyramid is the energy flow, how energy will flow from one ecological pyramid explains how energy will flow from producers to consumers. Finally, decomposes. How it will be balanced, it will explain. Next, food chain. Food chain. How food chain? Food will be, energy will flow from one level to another levels. Here, first, producers. Producers produce food. Green plants produce food in the terrestrial ecosystem. In the aquatic ecosystem, some zooplanktons also prepare, and then algae also prepare food. Producers, and then producers green plants, and then zooplanktons, algae, grass, everything is the producers. And then primary consumers, if we are taking grasshopper, one example. Next, from grasshopper to bird. Grasshopper will be eaten by bird, any bird, and then bird will be sometimes, not exactly, bird will be eaten by small bird, will be eaten by jaw killer, snake, whatever it may be. Next one, next consumer, and then our whole. This is the like this food will be flow from one producers to consumers, how food is going on. And then finally, what is this? If it is anybody is dies, decomposes, will degrade everything, and then entered as a nutrition into the soil, and then everything, climatic factors, and then abiotic factors. It comes back to here for producers for nutrition. This is the food chain. Food chain explain how energy will flow from one living being to another living being. Ecological pyramid explain how one energy will transfer one tropic level to another tropic level. One tropic level to another tropic level. One tropic level having number of such kind of some millions of such kind of living beings are there in one tropic. But here food chain, one individual to another individual, how food will be, how energy will be transferred. It will be explained here. Food chain. Interlinking of food chain. If this is from producers, grass, not only grasshopper will be eaten, deer will be eaten, rabbit also eaten, and then number of any other living beings also eaten by grass. Interlinking of individual food chain is known as food web. Interlinking of food chain is known as food web. See here, this is the producers, plants. So it will be eaten by deer, or squirrels, or other butterflies, frogs, or any small things, red-breasted, any living beings, maybe primary consumers. Number of primary consumers are there. This will be eaten, this will be eaten, this will be eaten. See here, these things. Interlinking of food chain. So if we are taking deer, next, deer may be eaten by wolf or jackal, or lion or tiger, whatever it may be. Interdependence, linkages like web. That's why food web is defined as interlinking of food chains. Not only energy will directly flow to in that particular direction, from producers to number of living beings, number of primary consumers, herbivores may eat the food that depends on the producers. These interlinking is known as the food web. Food web. So in the ecosystem, food chain, food web, and then ecological pyramid plays vital role. How energy is transferred, how energy will be flow from one trophic level to another trophic level. At the same time, while if we are thinking for balancing nature, for balancing of the environment, any ecosystem, each and everything plays vital role. Hence, we has to give priority to all the things. This is the structure. What is ecosystem? What is the importance of balancing of an ecosystem? What is the structure of an ecosystem? How energy will flow from one ecosystem to another ecosystem? How we has to balance the ecosystem? What is the importance of balancing the particular ecosystem? Explained in this lecture.